This week, we're in for a bit of a change because instead of the influencers or our usual suspects being messy, it was actually a week of drama for some pretty big name celebrities. From Sydney Sweeney, Sabrina Carpenter, and even Matt Rife and Elf Cosmetics. It's a mess, so let's get into it. Sydney Sweeney has definitely had a controversial few months, and the news that broke over the weekend isn't helping the public opinion on her. Earlier this month, Sydney found herself in the middle of a media storm when she was featured in American Eagle's new jean campaign. The ad was clearly a recreation of Brooke Shields' highly controversial 1980s Calvin Klein ad. Brooke was only 15 years old in this ad, and many people found it to be extremely inappropriate for her age. So to see Sydney and American Eagle recreate it felt pretty unsettling. Then there was a whole controversy with the jeans versus jeans wordplay and how people felt like it had an ulterior message, with some people even calling it eugenics. American Eagle and Sydney faced a ton of backlash, but they were getting millions of views on the campaign and their shares in the stock market soared. So maybe American Eagle saw the ad as a win, but the backlash has definitely followed Sydney and things aren't looking much better for her after the news that broke this week. Ever since Sydney and her fiance called it quits, the media has been heavily invested in who she's dating. For a while there, it was speculated that she was officially dating Glenn Powell, and he was the reason for her split from her fiance. But the new rumors are even more controversial. Back in June, a video went viral on Twitter showing Sydney walking in Venice with Scooter Braun. Fans were wondering if they were just working on something together or if this was the start of something going on between them. And over the weekend, Star Magazine said the rumors are true. They wrote, Scooter Braun and Sydney Sweeney are dating. Star can exclusively reveal. The actress, 27, and music manager, 44, were previously spotted together in June while enjoying a stroll in Venice, Italy, following Jeff Bezos' wedding to Lauren Sanchez. During the outing, which was captured and shared on TikTok, Sydney wore a black floral dress, while Braun wore a natural look with sunglasses. According to a source, Braun is telling those closest to him that he's dating Sweeney, but asking them to keep it hush-hush for now. And as you can probably guess, the reactions aren't the best. A lot of comments are pointing out how Sydney has been on a roll with making poor decisions lately. From attending Jeff Bezos' wedding, the American Eagle ad, and now this. We had comments writing, she's probably going to become best friends with Blake Lively next. She's like the final boss of bad decisions. I just know her publicist is tired. Dating Scooter Braun and attending Jeff Bezos' wedding is like in the top 5 worst decisions ever. It definitely feels like most of the stories that have been coming out about her lately are always negative, and even though it's keeping her in the headlines and I guess relevant, I just have to wonder at what cost. Moving on, we have to talk about Sabrina Carpenter's new album. Sabrina announced her new album titled Man's Best Friend a few weeks ago, and when people saw the album cover and heard the album name, there were some mixed reactions. We had people over on Reddit criticizing the album cover, writing, gonna be that person and say, she's not beating the catering to the male gaze allegations. What are we doing here? Feel like A, this is too soon, and B, in the current climate where we're going back in time on women's rights, etc., this cover is absolutely off-putting. But when the album actually came out over the weekend, people realized it was the complete opposite of what the title implies. A lot of people were saying that listening to Man's Best Friend made them come back down to earth after Taylor Swift's engagement had them believing in love again. One TikTok said, thank God for a new album. Almost started thinking men weren't that bad. And a lot of people are finding some of the songs on here very relatable. I can't play the audio, but one girl quoted a song off the album and said, he's busy, he's working, he doesn't have time for me. Sabrina ate down with this one. Another one said, every girl knows this exact feeling, and quoted My Man on Willpower, where Sabrina says, he used to be literally obsessed with me, now suddenly I'm the least sought after girl in the land. So fans are really relating to this album, and I have to say, it's probably my favorite album so far from Sabrina. It came at the perfect time, every song is so relatable. Yes, a lot of them do sound alike, and some of the backlash is about how every album she puts out sounds the same, but fans are saying that doesn't really bother them.
This is Sabrina Carpenter's worst album. No, it's not. Here's why you're wrong about hating this album. The main critique I've seen is that it sounds too similar to Short and Sweet, so that's what I'm gonna rebuttal today. Why, in 2025, do we need artists to reinvent themselves and reinvent their sound every album? I am the biggest Taylor Swift fan, and a really fun thing about Taylor is that she's always switching genres. I freaking love it. But changing genres is not what makes an artist talented or relevant. On Short and Sweet, Sabrina channeled this like 80s, 90s aesthetic and sound, and it was really good, and I think it brought a lot of uniqueness to current pop, which is rare and hard to do. It was her biggest album to date. So now she releases Man's Best Friend, and yes, there is a similar aesthetic. But why is that the reason to hate it? I know people have said other reasons, but so many people are saying this thing.
Although there is still a lot of mixed opinions on the album. One person said, literally felt like one continuous long song. Every song sounded the same as the last. And a lot of people feel like the cover doesn't make sense for the songs that are actually on the album.
Man's Best Friend has been out for 24 hours and people either love it or hate it. And I think one of the main reasons why it's had like a little bit of a mixed discourse is it's totally not what we expected. I feel like something that Sabrina's team kind of dropped the ball on was the marketing for the album as a whole. I feel like that's something they've always done phenomenally well. Like as soon as Sabrina changed record labels and really like gave herself that fresh start, I feel like everything in her marketing has been so intentional, and I feel like they've really capitalized on the things that she's good at. And I feel like they kind of dropped the ball on this album because, first of all, Man's Best Friend, it's got such a provocative cover, and I feel like the cover is like, it doesn't have any meaning when you listen to the songs.
But one comment under this video explained the meaning behind the cover and said, she sent an email where she briefly explains the title/cover. It's about being emotionally pulled by a leash and begging for crumbs, bare minimum. It actually fits the album extremely well once you listen through that lens. And then I saw someone else on TikTok put out this theory about the order that the songs are in, and it made a lot of sense to me.
So I'm sure someone's already put this together, but the track list on Man's Best Friend is basically the whole cycle of a relationship. We start with Man-Child, the same man over and over again. Kind of a man-child, but she'll go for him anyways. Then we have Tears. She's actually starting to like him, but then suddenly he doesn't like her back as much. In Sugar Talking, they're fighting. He's sending her paragraphs and she's like, I need more. They're on and off. We almost broke up again last night. And then Nobody's Son is the breakup. At the beginning, he's literally breaking up with her and she's like, I'm done. I'm never gonna find another man. Then this is like in her revenge era. She's like, I hope you're doing fine, but like not really. Then she starts to get back in the market, starting to like see guys be cuter again. Goes a little crazy, go juice, texts her ex, whatever. These two songs, like she's out and about, and then she meets someone new. Don't worry, I'll make you worry. And it gives him the house tour, of course. This is such a fun song. This is a new relationship, and it ends with this old relationship coming back to her, and she's like, no, goodbye.
But at the end of the day, music taste is very personal. The lyrics may resonate with you, and it may be your favorite album ever, or maybe the same kind of sound and those lyrics aren't for you and you may hate it. Sabrina also did an interview for the new album, and she was asked about her ex Barry and asked if she ever feels bad for the people she may or may not be singing about getting hate.
Last album they were saying it was about Barry Keoghan, Bed Kim. You never said it is or it isn't about him.
Right.
I just
wouldn't say.
You wouldn't say.
It's more fun for people to picture the person in their head than the
Yes.
person I picture in my head, I think.
Yes. But for him, he got a lot of backlash because your fans are very loyal.
Correct.
Did you feel badly when he was going through that, or did you feel, but that's not on me? I never said it was about him.
Love the way that she said his last name, but to answer the question, Sabrina pretty much said nope.
You know what's funny about, I feel pretty transparent going into any of my relationships that I write songs.
But let me know what you guys think. Did you listen to the album? Do you love it? Hate it? Let me know. Finally, we unfortunately have to talk about Matt Rife and his recent controversy involving e.l.f. Cosmetics. Matt Rife and e.l.f. were definitely two names I never ever would have pictured being in the same sentence, but here we are. Matt Rife has been in a lot of controversy over the years, and it all started with his disdain for having a mainly female fan base. A lot of girls went to see his show because they found him attractive, and he would go viral on TikTok a lot because of it. And at the start, he really leaned into having a female audience. He would make jokes about how the boyfriends would get dragged to his shows, but by the end, they would end up realizing they really do enjoy his comedy as well. Matt Rife was massively profiting off having a female audience. They were making him go viral, they were selling out his shows. It was going pretty good for him. I think over time he realized comedy is still very male dominated, and he maybe felt like he wasn't being taken as seriously having a mainly female audience. So one day he woke up and he decided to change that. He decided offensive comedy would be the way to get more men interested in him, which brings me to his first major controversy. He had this special on Netflix and he opened with a joke about DV. And since his audience was mainly female at this point, the joke didn't go over too well. He received a lot of backlash, and instead of realizing maybe the joke didn't fit his demographic, he doubled down with another offensive joke about how if you're offended, you need a special needs helmet. It's safe to say he lost a lot of his female audience, and he definitely has a lot more men following him now, so I guess he got what he wanted in the end. There was also that whole controversy with him and Brooke Schofield. Matt did an interview on some podcast, and he was talking about how he was disgusted by outie vaginas. And Brooke revealed on Cancelled that she was actually dating Matt Rife and she has an outie, and his comments were really hurtful and 100% body shaming.
Matt Rife went on the Stiff Socks podcast with our baby Trevor Wallet. I was still actively seeing him at the time. In fact, we'd gone to dinner the night before. He was telling me all about how he was going on a podcast.
He left your house to go to
just kidding.
go to Stiff Socks.
No, I was with him the night before. It doesn't matter. But the point is, I'm like I'm excited to watch it. I'm like, oh, gotta watch my man on a podcast. He goes on to say that he is disgusted by outie vaginas, like girls who have outie vaginas, because it looks like God left the tag on them. Now, I'm going to give you guys the Cancelled exclusive here, but I, Brooke Schofield, have an outie vagina, okay?
I've seen it. It's great.
I have and so does 2/3 of America, you weirdos.
So I think we're getting a pretty clear picture of who Matt Rife is by now and how he feels about women. Definitely not someone I would want being the face of a brand that sells their products mainly to women, yet that's exactly what e.l.f. did. e.l.f. hired Matt Rife and featured him in their new campaign.
Hey girl, has overpriced beauty hurt your wallet?
Elf that.
Alfino and Schmarns have gone to e.l.f. Court for millions of clients, helping them to access beauty products they deserve at prices that won't injure their livelihoods.
Just ask the elfing people.
I know a thing or two about red flags, and pricey makeup, you deserve better than that.
And as I'm sure you guys can guess, the comments were not too happy with the choices made here. We had people writing, out of all the people in the world, I truly can't believe that not one person at e.l.f. did not say, we should not partner with a man who makes jokes about domestic violence. Not one person Googled this guy. It's bad enough that one person suggested this, but this will have to go through multiple levels of approval, and not one person said, guys, this probably isn't a good idea. Who will you hire next? Andrew Tate? You just lost a lot of customers. I just don't understand how not one person in any of these meetings didn't speak up and say, hey guys, maybe we shouldn't do this. Out of all the comedians out there too, out of all the women in comedy trying to make it, they chose to pay and platform Matt Rife. It honestly feels like rage bait almost, because there's no way they thought this would go over well. e.l.f. did end up issuing a statement. I was gonna say apology, but it honestly isn't even that. They wrote, you know us. We're always listening and we've heard you. This campaign aimed to humorously spotlight beauty and justice. We understand we missed the mark with people we care about in our e.l.f. community. We'll continue to make the case against overpriced beauty. So still poking fun at the campaign, not addressing why people were disappointed, just a bare minimum statement to hopefully get some heat off of them. I really do love e.l.f., so this was so disappointing to see. I don't know what's going on, but I feel like a lot of brands are leaning more into rage bait for marketing because it gets people talking, but I always wonder at what cost. Sure, maybe it gets your brand talked about, but I feel like e.l.f. was already being talked about. They definitely didn't need Matt Rife on this one. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about everything down below, and I'll see you next time.